Okay, so let's do a trade review of today, Friday, and there was a lot going on. First, let's zoom out. Let's take the 4 hour as a starting point. So what we could see earlier this week, we took out these lows and then we just completely rallied up to the highs. So ES already took out all-time high and was now hovering over there. And actually, let's see, NQ took out the high. I think it was during the AM session of New York. But before that, it was not yet taken out. But what I could see is that, of course, the drawn liquidity was all-time high, and there was a lot of generated liquidity here. If we would get all-time high, I wasn't really sure, because that also had to do with the data. So let's go to the 1 hour. And by now it is 7 o'clock, 7 a.m. in the morning, and it did not actually take out this high. ES was already, it already pierced through the all-time high. It consolidated a little bit and it broke down. And the reason why I thought it was sensible to break down is that we have a lot of generated liquidity, both on NQ as ES, but NQ seemed a little bit stronger because here it's already breaking down. Let's see, so NQ, this level was still holding, and that was already a level that was breaking down for ES. So let's just press play and pause it, because then it starts running, of course. So we had news at 8:30, and this was really bearish news. This was the NFP, and the expectation was 75,000, and it was actually 22,000. So that was quite cold numbers, bad news. We get this beautiful Darth Maul. We get a wick to the upside and the downside, and from there on I could only describe this as, well, all price action I think is organic, but I would call this quite inorganic. If I would zoom, I was watching this on the 2 minute, and this just seems to me like there was just solid buying, but not real price action. What you can see is that this wick for NQ was a lot higher, so I was actually looking to trade from the data wick high to the data wick low, especially since it was bad news, let's say worse than expected news. But I saw on NQ, the minis, that the wick was actually not so high. So even though it didn't take out, I was looking for shorts here, didn't get them. I was watching this and I was looking at it, and I was asking myself, okay, so why would there be a reason for price still to move up? And what could be a reason for price to move down? So I only found the answer much later. So we opened here and price just started chopping for 5 minutes, like going up, going down. So I had some levels marked here which provided support, and there was a lot of resistance. But in the same time, while NQ was doing its best to hold up price, ES was already showing really bearish price action, and especially after breaking down from all-time high, I thought, okay, I'm not really sure what's going to stop this train going absolutely down. I zoomed out and I saw just effectively a lot of generated liquidity without any rebalance in the meantime. So I was thinking, okay, we could potentially just reverse this entire move. And I was trying to look for a short, but I couldn't really find it. And I think this was mostly because I was on the shorter time frame, so this didn't give me anything. there was no real change in the state or breaker to trade from. There was no real gap to trade from. Then we got this choppy price action, which made me feel really uncomfortable in a sense that I'm not sure what to think of this. We did get a lot of SMTs, both, I think they were both ways, SMTs, yeah, this is bullish, this is bearish. So I was just looking, okay, so where to take a trade from? I wasn't really sure, because the 2-minute also didn't provide any. Let's just switch on my indicator. The 2-minute didn't give anything. The 3-minute didn't give anything. Okay, so this is like a combined gap, but it broke down on the downside and then went up again, so I wasn't sure. And then I saw the 4-minute, which I normally don't take trades of, and this was the cleanest I could find, but it's still not clean. Tap once, twice, 3 times, just 7 times before breaking down, then doing a retest and then dropping off. So for me, there was not a real sign to find a short from. On ES, however, it was much cleaner. So we could see that, hey, we have this beautiful gap, tapped once, tapped twice, third was a clean breakthrough, retest, sell off. So seeing also the PA of ES was a lot more bearish, this would have been the better pair to trade, and I was just focusing on NQ because I was looking for signs for a drawdown, a reason for price to go down, and ultimately I checked it later. I found that on a weekly level, so this was the liquidity, the liquidity generated, but I actually saw that on a weekly level it took out the weekly high from a while ago. Let's go back to the 4 minutes. It took out the weekly high from a while ago. Actually, yeah. So this is this the high that got taken out? I guess so. Yeah, then it doesn't make too much sense actually. Because I was just thinking, okay, man, what's the reason for price to take it? Because this looks like such a small wick. Okay. So apparently this was the reason. So price went up and then it went down. So to be honest, on the 4 minute, I was looking at it and this could have already been a move down. So I was just waiting, and here I had to leave the desk. So there was no opportunity for me to take it. But then I saw a 5-minute reversal, and the 5-minute reversal was absolutely beautiful. So if we zoom out, we have ES just paving the way, right? It was just non-stop dumping, and we had the previous day low of Thursday and the previous day low of Wednesday, which were so close together, and only Thursday was close for NQ. So here it already took out, first it took out Thursday, so let's move to the small time frame. NQ was not even close, so first it took out Thursday. This could have been a good trade, right? So I mark out this 1 minute, but it didn't take out, right? It stabbed the gap, but then it sold off again, and that was actually where Wednesday's low was. It's just really beautiful price action. I love this. And it went down, and then it gave a good reaction, violent reaction, immediate reclaim of this bearish candle, so bullish engulfing. You could say there's a change in the state. I actually marked the change in the state here. Change in the state, and it coincides with a breaker. It's always, I see people marking out the breakers in so many ways, but I just use it as confluence. A breaker for me is good. So then I want to see a clear break from this 1 minute gap, and this would be my entry to, or at least my setup. Let's take this out. My setup to go long on the retest. A stop, I think I would put it a little bit wider. And first target would be sensible to have it here, TP1. And then, yeah, it's just a matter of higher time frame levels. Let's go to the 5 minute first to see if there's anything there. Higher time frame, yeah. So this could be an interesting second level to look at the higher time frame. But I would definitely also check out the 15. Wow, there's a big gap here. There's a tiny gap here, but a big gap here. So let's have a look where price ultimately went to. So let's see. So this is the 50-minute one. Let's just give it a different color. Okay, so price showed good action. I think I would take it to this one, 1.8, take some off, and then ride it as long as I can. Okay, so what you see here is it went into that 50-minute gap. This is the 50-minute gap, and then it starts rejecting. And that now it's interesting to look at the time because it's almost lunchtime. And what I think that I see is that when you get reversals around 11, they normally take around 30 to 45 minutes. And sometimes an hour, but often not much longer than that. So if you get your 2R or maybe a 3R, let's see how much this would give me. A 3R, then it's just pack your bags and leave. Then it's good enough. So let's see what price did afterwards. It's also very important to wait for a good clean break. Wait for a proper gap and then wait for a good clean break of that gap. Because this would not be a good point to take a reversal trade from because you have such key levels just below. And especially when it tags this one, you could have a reversal, but then you want to see a clean break above this gap, then go long and then trade it upwards. But as you can see, it did not even mitigate the 1 minute gap, and then it just took out that liquidity. And for MNQ it was still far away. See, there's still a major gap, so that's a really good SMT. You love to see it. I don't know if this also took place in a bigger fair value gap, but I assume it would. But actually, when you have such a big level, it's not important. So it took out the level, traded upwards, and then a 2 or 3R, anything is just absolutely wonderful. The only thing you need to do, and that's the most difficult thing, is just sit on your hands for 2 or 3 hours and wait for the great opportunity.